I think that the UAW was underestimated the whole way because Fain just beat them everywhere.
Yeah, they were underestimated by people like you. Now, of course, he's talking about the United Auto Workers who have secured some pretty big concessions, pretty big wins from the big three, thanks to the strike they engaged in. Obviously, they were able to accomplish this under the leadership of Shawn Fain, who is just a stud of epic proportions. And look, honestly, credit to Jim Cramer for at least acknowledging that he was totally wrong about the UAW and how successful they would be. And he did spend quite a few segments, quite a few months, basically crying his eyes out over Shawn Fain. So let's watch Cramer's full statements, and then we'll show you what he said about the UAW and Shawn Fain in the past.
I think that the UAW was underestimated the whole way because Fain just beat them everywhere. It was very much guerrilla action. It was very smart. They were completely, they were outgained at every turn. I mean, it was almost like that Fain was a great NFL coach who really figured out all the weaknesses of the other team and just came in and blew them away. They were blitzing. They were doing everything right. I mean, they had like linebacker and corner blitzes and safety blitzes, and they like the other guys like I love Farley and I love Barr, and and I think that they were, wow, what happened? They were in the wow, what happened camp, and when the game was over, it was just a real beatdown.
It was in fact a real beatdown. I want to just quickly show you what he had to say about Shawn Fain and the UAW prior to his concession. Let's take a look at this compilation.
The notion that we're fat cats. The shareholders are fat cats and have been overly rewarded. We haven't seen this. That's class warfare. I took 7 courses on communism at Harvard because I was in a particularly bad period at Harvard. There should be an 8th course, Shawn Fain and what he had to do with Engels. It was Marx and Engels and Fain. I mean, he says horrible things. He's talking about a kleptocracy, that the people who own these stocks are just bad people. He is using rhetoric that Elizabeth Warren would say, keep your mouth shut.
AP's got a piece this morning on public approval of either the automakers or the unions. You want to know percentage that favor the automakers?
Oh my!
It's like 6%.
The man you saw just now, I think, is a paper tiger. I'm just saying that Shawn Fain, when you listen to him, he sounds like he's the president of the United States. No, president of something higher than the United States. He's not. I thought that perhaps there would be people who say, you know what, I have a F-150, I love it, and they do a great job, and the workers are being greedy, and no. The workers win. I think that the UAW was underestimated the whole way because Fain just beat them everywhere.
Increasingly, I'm starting to believe Harvard, they're not sending their best, Cenk.
So earlier, Shawn Fain was Karl Marx and Engels, and even Elizabeth Warren would tell him to shut his mouth. And he was all these terrible things. But the minute he wins, isn't that amazing? Like the CNBCs of the world, they're like all aggro guys, right? And like, oh, he was like a linebacker blitzing in. He was like so manly. I like victory. I like to smell a victory in the morning, even though we got our asses kicked. But my favorite is like the old school clips when he's like, oh, actually he said it in that last clip too. The one from today where he was like, man, I love those CEOs.
Totally.
But they did get outplayed. I mean, don't get me wrong, the CEOs are always the best, okay?
Right.
And my heart goes out to those beloved CEOs. But they happen to lose this game. It's a game, it's a game. And then the best of all time was in the earlier clip when he was like, when he saw the polls and he was like, the workers win.
No, he went, oh my. When he realized, when he realized that the American people are on the side of the workers, because guess what? The majority of Americans are workers in this economy, which increasingly over the years has been rigged against them, where you see shareholders get paid these massive dividends, where you see the executives at these corporations spend the money not on investing in improving the business or investing to improve the lives of the workers who generate the revenue in the first place, but to essentially buy their own stocks and artificially inflate the value. Right, which of course helps the shareholders and the executives who are paid through shares. right? Yeah. So I love how disconnected he is. I love how his expertise is. I took 7 courses on communism in Harvard. So as a result, I understand the American people and how all of this works better than anyone else. And it's like, except you don't understand this at all.
Yeah, and unions are not communist.
I know. It's
I mean, you were like almost crying about how the workers won. The average American worker doesn't believe in Karl Marx or Engels. They're not communists, they're just American workers.
Yeah.
They work and build cars. So, but to him, if you're not a CEO, you're not a shareholder. It's all class warfare and you're all Karl Marx. And so the real Jim Cramer is the one that was crying when the workers were winning. So now this is him trying to be like, oh yeah, I'm just analyzing. I mean, I don't have a horse in this fight, you know?
Can you believe that Shawn Fain was underestimated? Who would do that? I thought he was a strong leader from the beginning. Who would call him a paper tiger? Did I do that? I didn't do that. Did I do that?
Yeah, you called him a paper tiger, brother. That's what you did. And look, to Anna's point, I don't mind people taking dividends, and I don't mind executives getting paid a lot. I'm an executive here at TYT, right? As long as everyone is winning.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
But you can't say, hey, I gave giant dividends and I gave giant increases to the executives as GM, Ford, and Stellantis did, and go, oh, well, right afterwards, I ran out of money for the workers. Nah. And that's why Shawn Fain said, nah. And then he beat them with a stick. And so the only thing corrected and honest that Cramer said is, yeah, Fain kicked their ass all over the field.
Absolutely, and we've shared this information with you before, but I'll share it again. Under the new tentative agreements, UAW workers will receive a wage hike of 11% upon ratification and 25% in wage hikes through April 2028. And that's before the cost of living adjustments and other benefits that the big 3 have conceded on. And according to the union, starting pay is over $30 per hour and the top pay is over $42 per hour with these cost of living adjustments. And between the wage hikes and a $5,000 ratification bonus and an estimated $8,800 in cost of living adjustments, most UAW workers are expected to realize economic benefits worth $68,200 over the life of the contract. Doesn't sound like Shawn Fain was ever a paper tiger, that's for sure.
Yeah, although he did bring in a lot of papers.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, and so, look, if a company can't afford something, they won't pay it, otherwise they'll go broke. They obviously could afford it, and that's because Fain was right all along. Just in the last decade or so, they made $250 billion in profits.
Crazy.
They definitely could afford it, and Fain proved it. And Cramer now pretending to be on the side of the winners when he was crying about it the entire time.
Oh my.
If you enjoyed this video, that's because of our members. They make us independent, they make us strong, and they make us honest. Become a member today by hitting the join button below.